All right. All right. We're all set now. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. Spotify. Okay. What's up, Ty? How's it going? How you doing today? So I'm just scrolling through my latest changes. I think these all staged so I can just continue. Let's see what we have so far. I'm doing well. I have kind of a weird bug that I'm not really sure what's causing it. Like I have an idea of what line of code is doing the bug, but I don't know why it's running that line of code. Wait, where's the worm? There it is. I made these like squiggly attacks that randomly shoot out, which is pretty fun. But every once in a while, he'll like readjust like that. He readjusted. I don't know why he did that though. It's not like a game killer, but it's just like it doesn't ruin the boss fight. I just don't like that it's something like that. I don't like that it's something that isn't intentional, and stuff like that looks weird, obviously. Because the line of code that's running is this one where it picks a random angle to start at. If it hasn't moved anywhere. It's like what I think should be happening is it should always be moving somewhere. And I track the last position. Then I have the updated position. And I cycle these, I like rotate these every frame. So if these are ever equal, then it picks a random position. But I don't know why they would ever be equal. Like while he's moving, I'm not sure why it would be equal. So, I'm not really sure what to do. Because I rotate it here, I say every time I update a mob, I store the next last position, and then I update their position, and then I store the last position with whatever we put in this temporary variable. They don't seem like they'd be ever equal. Yeah, right? Because it's like you update the position, which is the GT value, gt.pause is getting updated every frame. And it's getting cycled. So it basically like insinuate that this code is doing nothing, which means velocity is 0. But I don't think velocity could ever be 0. But I think I said it, yeah, I said it here, if it's ever 0. Or this is 0. Well, let's panic if either of those is 0. You can maybe just not use the random angle func. Yeah, I mean, the problem is I need to start it in, like I need to start it with some vector direction. And this should only be run the first time. But it's like I'm checking to see if it's moving. Like there's no, like I could just hard code it to this, like 1, 0 or something like that. But then it's going to, when this line of code runs, instead of picking a random position, it's always going to turn right. Like I need some piece of code that starts the velocity. Okay, I did it. But it didn't panic, so... Is the random angle line the reason why it randomly turns away from the player? Yeah. I mean, that's the behavior. But this if statement's evaluating true for some reason, but it shouldn't be. Like once it starts moving, this should never evaluate true. Like I need some way to track if it started moving yet. And if it hasn't started moving, then I need to generate a new one. So I use the position, the last position, to calculate if it's been moving. And if it's currently moving, then I set that to the velocity. But if I comment this out, it's just going to, like it just won't move anymore. Yeah, I just don't have a really, I mean, I can put a flag on some other, like, I can't put a flag in the behavior. So I could put a flag into like the bot context, but it's just such a weird, it doesn't feel right for me to like put a flag for one specific behavior. Like, is it moving? You know, it's like, cause I already have last position, next position. Like this should be my way of detecting if it's moving or not. Cause this is already in the context, the last position. I just don't know like why it's entering this. Like, I'm not sure what sequence of events is happening. Oh, it did start moving. So maybe I can just comment that out. How does it start moving though? I wonder if it'll do it though. I wonder if it's gonna do it again. Like there's no shot it does. Maybe we just fixed it by commenting that out. Though okay, I did it again. Why would it do that? Am I like, what am I missing here? It's kind of a complicated state tree. Question: why don't you use heavy logging? That can be no opt for out from your prod build. In some cases I do, like for some of like the storage transactions, like moving things from one character's inventory to another, or like from your inventory to storage, like a chest or a bank or something like that. I have a bunch of log statements in there to track it easily. But yeah, I mean, I have a decent amount of logging. I'm not a big logging person. Like I'll add printouts here and there if I need them, but I try to put some of the code in hot reloadable areas so that I can just like throw a log statement in if I need to. But it's rare that I get stuck on a problem for this long. Like I couldn't figure this out all yesterday. Not that I was working only on this yesterday, but like I'm just surprised. Like I'm just missing something. Like clearly this isn't the line of code that's executing here. So then something else is setting it or an angle randomly. Let's do this. I wonder if it's the hot reloader actually. What could be happening is, I don't know why it would happen so periodically though. I wonder if, no, because this should set true and then this should always return false. But like when I do spawn the snake, oh, this isn't velocity though. This is just a position. This is the spawn position. Never mind, that's completely irrelevant. Actually, I just thought of the problem. I think. The problem is this. The problem is this state thing that I loop through. What happens, how I do the whole snake body, I'll draw this out. This is what the problem is though. I now understand it. I understand it now. Okay. I have a snake, which is a long length of different like game objects or entities, you might call them. One is the head, and then everything else is like a limb. The tail is technically behaves like a limb, it just has a different sprite. So I'm just gonna call it a limb as well. But what happens is I have this like attack sequence thing that randomly goes and picks. Like I have these different ways of searching for children to execute commands on them. And how commands work is they override the state machine of each entity with something custom. So like, for example, if I want to shoot a like squiggle shot out of this one, I could say like, I want to pick the like child ID 0, 1, 2. So child 2, shoot the squiggle weapon, for example. And then when I override that, I also have to say, but also you're also a limb, or you're also a snake follow behavior. So follow like your parent, because these all just follow each other. Each limb follows its parent. And when I override that, it's kind of like a new behavior tree that starts up. But then when I remove it, it falls back to the old behavioral state tree that existed. So what happens is the head gets overridden. The head gets overridden with like, shoot this weapon and act like a snake. Like these two things get overridden, but then they get removed. And the head, and when they get overridden, let's say the velocity vector of the head was this direction, then they get overridden and the snake like turns this way. Now his new velocity vector is like downward. But then this gets removed and he switches back to his original, his like normal state tree. The old velocity vector is up here. And so he thinks like, oh, I'm supposed to be going like this way, because the velocity is tracked internally to each state, which is the problem. So I don't know if that made any sense to you guys, but that is what the issue is. Whew. What's up, Pico? Yeah, I can link it here. Hold on. How do I? I'm surprised I don't have like, because it's like, I don't want to link to my URL because that's like inside of my account. It feels weird to do that. Let's go here. Okay, hold on. I'm getting a link. All right, I got one. That's the playlist. It's this like company or whatever called Stream Beats. They make stream music for streaming. Yeah. Another good one that I listen to sometime is it's like app.chillhop.com. It's pretty good as well. Okay, so all we have to change, I think, is what's up, Frederick? How's it going? I don't know what word that is. So I think we want to get rid of velocity tracked internally. Or technically, we could just do this on enter. Yeah, we'll track it internally just so we have it. Whenever we enter this state, though, I'm just going to clear velocity and I'm going to clear acceleration as well. I'll copy paste. Also, I fixed my gnome bug. There's like this, I can try to find it. So if you guys are using gnome and you have a keyboard bug repeating, I had this exact bug. Every single time I switched back, it would I Windows key tab to switch, and the tab key gets stuck, and it just kept tabbing. And I'd have like tons of weird tabs in my files, and my like just like lines and lines of tabs everywhere. It was super annoying. So I ended up downgrading. I followed this instructions. This is like the it just downgrades it to 49, which doesn't have the bug. 49.1 has the bug. So if this gives you 49.1, then you should probably downgrade as well. Just downgrade Mutter and GNOME Shell. Mutter's like the compositor, I think, that GNOME uses. But this fixed it for me. But yeah, that was a pain for like all last week. Yeah, so I think what'll happen here is once we fall back to the default state, we will will we re-enter it? Actually, I don't know if we'll re-enter it because we didn't really leave it as far as the default state was concerned. Like, it's not like we come out of the state and then... Yeah, so this won't actually run, will it? I'm pretty sure it won't, so we won't do that. Okay, we'll just calculate velocity based off of this. I'm just gonna comment this out really quickly. I'm gonna get rid of this as well. Hold on, I've staged everything, right? Yeah, so then we'll just dump stuff. I will leave this line just so I can reference it, but this will change slightly. Yeah, but I was having so many keyboard bugs. I was like getting so mad. So we won't do this check anymore because b.velocity doesn't exist anymore. We will calculate we'll calculate velocity every frame based off of where you were and where you're going, or where you were and where you last were and where you are this frame. So we'll basically take your transform position and subtract out the last position you were at, normalize it, and then scale it by the max velocity. This is like the last velocity you were at. So we'll make that a variable. The one weird thing here that's problematic, I guess, is what's it called? Once you call norm, if position and last position are the same, then this is going to become not a number. I kind of want to avoid even the thought of those entering into the equation, though. I could also just do this if what is it, like math? No, I can't. Is non or something? Is an N-A-N. Okay, it's not two A's. I don't know why I did a comma there. So I guess we have two options. We could either check to see if they're not a number. Is infinity considered not a number? Because what will happen is the length is going to be 0, and then you're going to be dividing by a length, which will give you an infinity number. For floats is not a number. Okay. So we actually have to check one or the other. We have to check if it's not a number, and then we also have to check if it's infinity. But I don't really like doing stuff like this. I'd much prefer... Here's what we're gonna do. We'll just make a zeroed one. Like we'll just initialize the variable to 0, and then if they're the same, we'll calculate a random angle. Otherwise, we will do this. Oh, whoops, not b.vel, it's just velocity. This technically we don't have to do anymore because we're already normalizing it up here. Or hold on a second. We need to normalize it before we assign it. Because we do this whole, well, hold on a second. Because velocity is not carrying over, I might have to execute the turn before I execute the movement. This part's the movement. You apply the velocity to time. And then here we do the turn, which is accelerating 90 degrees. That's what like turns the head left or right. I basically like look for the target. If they're to the right, I go right. If they're to the left, I go left by accelerating different directions. That should do it though. How is this never used? Okay, it's just a linter out of date. I guess maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't understand this. Oh, this value of velocity is never used. I just do this because I like it more than var vel equal or var vel whatever. All right, let's give this a shot. We'll see how it does. Do 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 do. Bum 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 bum. Ba-la-lam. This is a weird boss fight though because I'm basically just gonna change the behavior depending on how many limbs are left. But unfortunately, because of how I programmed it, I'm kind of stuck with one behavior for all of the snakes that appear. Like if this guy gets cut in half and he turns into 2 snakes, both of those snakes will have to have the same, will have similar behaviors. Okay. I think this is a cool weapon type though. dun, dun, dun. I was having this problem when I spawned these because I used to spawn them based off of where the position was. So they were like, the squiggles were moving, but I wanted them to be like, feel like one thing. So I ended up having the monster, like a limb will spawn like an anchor thing that all it does is shoot a weapon. And the weapon, all it does is picks a random direction and then shoots a squiggly out of it. That way it's not like moving while it's shooting, because it looked pretty weird before. Thank you, Pyliot, for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Let's see, though. There was this weapon we wanted to do, which we kind of have already. The squiggle. We also have the circle, which just shoots a circle. And the other one that I wanted to steal from... oh, thank you, Pyliot, for the sub, man. Appreciate it, man. Thanks. The one I wanted to steal from Enter the Gungeon is... we did the circle. We did the squiggly ones, which are kind of like snakes. I also want to do a minion phase as well. And then I want to do one that shoots like lines. And this was from Enter the Gungeon. It'll like go straight and then it just like turns. And it's like a line of them. So all I need to do is shoot the same projectile multiple times, kind of like the squiggly one. What I do is I shoot one, then shoot another one, and they just follow the same exact squiggle. But I need to do one that does this turning feature, has this turning feature into it. And I'm not really sure how to do that, but we'll see. I'll probably have to program because I have parametric projectiles, so like it could maybe fit in that, or I could have some like extra component that I add to it, and then a system on that that just like once it hits a certain tick or something, or after a certain duration, it like turns left or it turns right or something like that. It's either that or I do it parametrically. Let's stage this though, because now that we've got the thing working, I'm gonna close this as well. My builds are a lot faster since the latest rewrite that we did on Monday and Tuesday. The builds are like incredibly fast. I'm very happy with how that turned out. It took a long time to get everything refactored, and I haven't done the client stuff very much yet, but at least on the server stuff, I'm very content with it now. The client build's a little bit long, but we'll hopefully thin that down in the future. Oh yeah, we're gonna do the turning thing. This will be in the weapon package. I'm gonna delete this file. Just as like a cleanup thing. I don't want to put it in here, I don't think. Caster. I might put it in the projectile package. No. Tracer. I'll just throw it in here. Even though like this is not that much. This used to have a system in it, but I'm slowly pulling systems out so they're not always recompiled. But yeah, whatever. Let's go to projectile. Dun, dun. Projectile path is our parametric function. Dun, 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 dun. Where is this defined? Yeah, we can do position. This is where it gets spawned, I think. Or this is like the current, or like, yeah, this is the spawning position, I guess. Rotation, velocity, acceleration, orbit, and then I have interpolate and movement. This is the parametric part. I use this for scythes, which kind of come out and come back. Bum, 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 bum. I'm just thinking of how I would implement this here. I think I'm gonna do the normal velocity sort of projectile, which is like the typical, like just go straight. But then I'm gonna add a special component to it, which just turns it at a certain tick or a certain cooldown or something. Like some time roll decrement and then turn it. Cause I'm just thinking about how this, like, cause I think the behavior I want, like I don't want it to be like always 5 seconds and then it turns. So I'm not sure like how I would spawn, because these are like very hard coded typically. Like it's like go out for like 2 seconds and then come back for like 2 seconds. So it's not very like, I can't really do like random stuff in this super easily. So what I'd rather do is just attach some component to like a normal velocity trail. And the component will just cool down, or like the timer will just decrement until it hits this point, and then it'll just turn left or right. So we just need one system to do this cooldown tracking thing, the turning part of the velocity, and then everything else is the same. And then we'll spawn like, we can just spawn like 8 projectiles at the exact same spot, like we do for the squiggles, and then they'll all turn at the exact same time. The one tricky part though is they all need to know that they need to turn the same direction. Otherwise it'll be like, they'll just like split, you know? Like some will go this way and some go this way. So probably the component I spawn, bum, 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 bum. I don't know. Because how it works is I spawn like an anchor projectile here, which has a weapon attached to it, and the weapon shoots. So when the weapon shoots, it needs to like assign this like special trait to it, or this special component to all of the projectiles that it spawns. So the weapon can generate left or right and then assign it to all of them, or the weapon can pick between 2 weapons to fire when it spawns and it dies immediately, and then it fires a weapon on death. So when it spawns the weapon, when it fires the weapon, we just do It's also more complicated because I need to pick the direction. I need to pick the direction in one of these ways, like how it's gonna shoot, and then I need to pick left or right turning. I could just make a special sequencer for this, or a special like, because I just can't think of a way to do this where it's like reusable. And it is a very specific sort of thing. Typically how I do targeting though, like how the targeting works is it usually tries to find an ID. This one would need to be, and what I do for the squiggle one is I just pick a random direction out of a circle. So I can have a separate targeting system which picks a random direction out of the 4 cardinal directions. So that could maybe work for the targeting part, actually. Yeah, that probably will be fine. So then all we have to do is pick left or right. And we could do that through 2 sequencers and then just randomly pick one. Bum, bum, bum. It's either that or we make two separate weapons, one that turns left, one that turns right, and then have the server send over the one that they want to do. Decisions. What's up, Roger? I'm doing that one weapon that you, that's in the Enter the Gungeon where it turns. Where does the line then turns? I'll probably only have it turn once. I guess we could program the component however we want, but... Yeah, I mean, it's either a sequencer between two weapons or it's a mob AI thing where the mob decides between multiple weapons, which might be a nice feature to have too. What if I do that? I extend the shoot behavior to have an optional way to add more weapons to pick between. Weapon string. Oh, this is so old. This was back when I had YAML configs. This was one of the first behaviors I made. We actually don't need this anymore. Because all it's trying to do is find the weapon type that we're going to use. And this is the one that I typically use, see? But I never set weapon. The weapon string. Let's get rid of that. Ah, that feels so good. Feels so good to delete code. It's tricky though. Let's see how this gets used. Hold on. Or let's just search in this file. Yeah, really we only use it here, huh? Oh, and we add it here as well. But what we can do is this. So we'll determine the weapon type. Bot weapon none. This is like there is no weapon set. Would this ever be true though? Yeah, because it's gonna get it. It's gonna be false. And then the weapon will just be invalid. So if this is none, then we'll add a separate. I'm gonna add a separate like I can either do a table if I want to have probabilities assigned to it, or I can do a like this, like just a slice. I'll just write the function here. It'll just be or do I have a pigeon.random? I really don't have a like random element or something like that. Get list. And then this is in dot random weapon. This is just a return false. I'll just do this. The problem is adding this makes it a local variable. So we'll just do rand. We'll do RNG, web type, and at the end of it, we'll do this. Yes, we'll do that. So basically, if the normal weapon is none, then we'll try to roll one and randomly pick it. That way it's all backwards compatible with all of the other monsters. Thank you, Roger, for the sub, man. Appreciate it. 15 months. Dang, you're coming up on 2 years. The Bezos bucks. Jeff's really hurting now. He's gonna have to sell his yacht. One of his many. I just love the story about him where he makes a yacht. Not the yacht. Yeah. He makes a yacht, but it's too big to like get under some bridge. And then he like, I think, did they actually do it? I don't know if they ended up doing it, but they like disassembled the bridge to get his yacht out of some harbor. Trunks, you're killing me, dude. This catch is rolling on my keyboard. I'm pretty sure it happened. Disassemble bridge. Rotterdam was partly dismantle. Will partly dismantle its iconic, I don't know, bridge. Better known as DHEF among locals. So a new pleasure yacht for Jeff Bezos can pass through it. Hilarious. Isn't that nuts? Poor Netherlands. I'm sure he paid out the wazoo for it, but still. How about disassemble the boat? Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's harder to disassemble a boat. But like, you gotta imagine, maybe it's too wide, or was it too tall, or I don't know. They can keep up with these billionaires. Is anyone a trillionaire yet? Is that a thing? No, no one is a trillionaire. Okay, I guess some people are close. Move aside, peasants. Seriously. Oh, the oil princes. They don't have to report wealth like we do. Oh, yeah, you're probably right. Like foreign, you mean? Like people who like own countries pretty much. Yeah, that is true. I worked in Abu Dhabi for some time, and there's some very rich people out there with very nice cars. Ba-dum-bum. His whisker fell off. So different from his normal fur. What was I doing? Oh yeah, we're doing the line shot thing. So we need to do the targeting. Let's do red. We need to do this targeting, and then 2, we need to do the path. 3, RNG wep. I never pushed this, huh? Let's make this a commit. Fixed the... Okay, so we have the random weapon thing. I'm pretty sure it's gonna work, but we'll have to test it. So this one's done. We have to do the path thing, which is the turning left to right. We'll do the targeting first though. Let's go ahead and make a simple weapon here, which just says line. So this spawns the like anchor projectile. Then the global on death is the caster for that. This is the weapon that does it. And then here, oh, I do a geometric sequencer with no like shifting, so it just shoots a line. And then this was from the squiggle one, so this one's have squiggle attached to them, which is this part. So we'll delete that. Then it'll shoot a line. And speed, duration. This lives 1 frame and doesn't move. And then where does the targeting get set? Oh, here's the targeting. Caster targeting. So we'll make a new targeting system, which is going to be so I'll call it random cardinal pause. Then it'll only get 1 of the 4. I don't know why I did that. I went back to there. There's this. Oh, okay, here we are. So we'll shoot 8 projectiles with a delay of 2 ticks each. We need to implement this still, but we're pretty close. Okay. Then in here, that gets done there, and this is this. So we'll add this because this is a no follow, which basically means that the target gets selected once and then never moves. Because you could have bullets that like shoot and follows the target, or you could have them just pick the first spot. So we'll do cardinal there. Random cardinal. So we'll get an RNG, and then we'll do do I want to make a function for this? I might just do it's kind of I'm trying to think of how to I'm trying to think of what's the like simplest way to write this function. I'm just gonna do this. I'll probably change the name of this, but 0, 1, 1, 0. 0, -1, -1, 0. Those are our 4 cardinal directions. Or actually it might be called seeded get list. It's, I mean, this doesn't really matter because this should just never happen. But we'll handle our not okay situation. Yeah, then everything else is the same basically. Yeah, so we'll basically just pull one of these out of here. In my head, I feel like this is going to cause an allocation, but I'm pretty sure it's not. It's just such a simple case, you know? But I could hoist this out. I'll just move to the top, whatever. I think I could just do this, huh? Yeah, there we go. I'll move it at the very, very top. Okay. Let's go to Vorsoon and see this in action now. The line shot. We'll just add this to our testing, because I'm kind of just testing weapons. I tested the circle one, squiggle one, now we're the line one. All right, let's see it. Let's see it. And then the last part we need to do is that would be done after that. All we have to do is the path now, which will just have some component. We'll have to attach some component that says like turn right or turn left. But that does mean we'll have to make 2 weapons, doesn't it? We'll have to do line left and line right. So this is technically going to be a projectile line. Because this one will have to do weapon type is going to be... what did I call it? Weapons? Oh, random weapon. No, it's swep.bot weapon type, I think. Oops. It's kind of cool. We can do this now. Did it build? Oh, there's a bug somewhere. Seeded get list. I kind of prefer this, honestly. I feel like doing the bounds checking I should do externally. And we know for a fact that this will always have a length greater than 0, so it should work. Oh. Oops. So we should see some lines going in random directions. We should see squiggles as well. Then we'll work on the component that turns it. That's kind of cool. Bum, bum, bum. Mm-hmm. 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 Trunks, you're killing me, dude. Buddy. Buddy. Dun, dun. You're bonking the mic. The problem is I like reward him for doing this. But he's so cute, I can't help it. I think these should be longer. All right, let's build. I could also do like an even odd thing where like, cause I have to randomly pick how far it's gonna go before it turns. And I could just say if you randomly pick an odd one, then turn left. If you randomly pick a even one, then turn right. So maybe I didn't need this random weapon thing. But they all need to turn at the same time. Let me look at how I do this. Weapon caster. This could be a part of the projectile path though, couldn't it? Or sorry, the projectile pattern. Bum, bum, bum. Where do I do attack single? Oh, I do a fan. Yeah, I mean, I could throw the component here because this can generate random stuff. This is actually probably the best place to put it. But it's just awkward. So instead of doing this, I would make an attack like line or something. And then I would just roll. I basically just shoot straight and I would roll. I'd have a number that I need to shoot. I have a number that I need to shoot. And I would free roll, what tick they turn on, and whether or not they turn left or right. That way they're combined and they have the same, like, it's either that or the sequencer decides it. I don't know. Feels less good to have it in here though. Look, I even wrote for this one. This would be better as a sequencer feature, I think. But I can't do it this way for... Unless I code it into like some parameter that gets passed inwards. Or I put it in the pattern base. It's definitely more extensible if I put it in the weapon pattern base. The problem is I can only roll it for one. Like I could put it here and put like some component that gets added to all the projectiles. I just don't want to call. I don't want to call this in every single pattern. I don't want to like look this up. But there's a weapon projectile base which is passed in, and this is like what the projectile is that should be shot. I can't roll the turn data for each projectile though. I have to roll it for the entire weapon. But I could do an inline. I could do an inline and then... These don't go one after another though. Like this does. This shoots one, then another one. So it just kind of spawns out of one spot. This one would spawn an entire line all at once. So I don't like that part of it. Yeah, let's see if we can do it in this mode. I think I prefer it this from here. It's almost like I need some... Buddy. It's almost like I need some kind of... I need some kind of like late edition thing. Like I need some way to like modify the projectiles that I'm spawning, like some like tack on thing where like all of this stuff is fine, but I also want to like add a component to all the weapon projectiles. I mean, technically this only returns the paths. Then I have projectile.getConfig. So really it would be in the weapon attack, I guess. Like it's something that I want to attach to... I guess that's reasonable, huh? Then everything's the exact same, except I do line attack. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I guess this kind of works. Then I'll do line attack dot like roll right angle turn equals true or something like that. It wouldn't be a Boolean, it'd probably be like an optional. Let's just hypothesize here. So here's where I would roll all of the info. And then I build the config basically. I build the path. It's kind of a question of like, where do I want to put this stuff? But I probably would do, I guess it doesn't matter all that much. Or really we want to look at the projectile config now. Because we need to add special I might for experimenting, I might just do like this or something. Might just throw on like this one. Mode wep dot. I think I'm in wep though. Player. I think target gets rolled. Let's just double check. Okay, I guess we won't double check. Hold on. This thing just keeps hot reloading. It's killing my. Yeah, it starts off as nothing. Speed will do like 100. I don't know. Speed rot will do 100 as well. Actually, I don't know if I usually put this. What do I usually put? 6,000? What? I don't know. We'll just do this. Hopefully we'll get some kind of tracer behavior. I just want to see like some kind of yes, we set it true here, and then when it runs in, we'll roll it. We're just gonna set it to true, then they should all get tracer behaviors. But really what we want to do is we want to do like maybe some with tracer and some without tracer, let's say. Okay, so we'll do where's the RNG? Int in 1, I think 2 actually. With it, yeah, half open interval. So it's 0 to 1, that'd be 2. So if this is 0, then we'll set right angle turn to true. But technically we'd probably just roll some data for the right angle turn on every single thing. Boom, 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 boom. I feel like a lot of times I want to add a component and I want to add the values to it like fairly randomly. It's kind of a weird situation because I don't really know what to like how to map all that stuff out. Like especially for particle systems, it's kind of tricky. Because you don't just want every particle with the same value. So you end up like specifying ranges you want, but you might not want a range. You might want like a donut or something or some weird shape. It's just like an awkward interface, I feel like. bum, bum, bum. Big rebuild. Hopefully we get some tracers. The other thing I'm unsure of is if I've set the values high enough for the projectiles to turn. But we'll see. Yeah, like these seem to be bending, but only some of them are. But all of them should be, or all of them shouldn't be. Generate projectiles. Oh, because each attack is a different attack. It's like 8 attacks in a row. So this is actually the wrong spot for this. Okay, let's see where this gets called. Attack generator. And this is a weapon activator. Where's the sequencer defined though? This really should be a sequencer thing, shouldn't it? The problem is all the spawning happens in here. So the sequencer can pass in attacks. The sequencer can pass in attacks. The sequencer can pass in whatever it wants, I guess. But it's almost like the sequencer needs to pass in the fact that you want to do a right turn for all of these projectiles. But yeah, I thought that this was every single one, but this is actually, that would be on the same frame. So this is wrong. I kind of want the code though. Let's just, here's what we'll do. What is this one? This one's very similar. But this is for when something has to spawn other ones. I do an attack generator. Yeah, so we have this stuff. I guess the sequencer could set a weapon attack. Gosh. What do you want? You want food, I know it. The sequencer... It's just weird how I programmed this like forever ago. The sequencer basically builds a list of weapon attacks and then all of those have to run. But the sequencer doesn't really have any control over it after that point. So it's kind of like generate a list and then the list just gets processed. Now that there's iterators, I maybe could change that. But like what I'd have to do, I guess, is I'd have to do this. Instead of like this, I would have to pass in what the, I guess I could put it in here still. Yeah, because the sequencer, when it generates the thing, hold on. What I can do is this. I can, yeah, this is all wrong. However, in the weapon attack, like I need to pass it downwards. So the sequencer has to set some value to pass downwards. And I want to set it for every single weapon attack that the sequencer processes. So I'll do sequencer attack iterator. Do I use this? Oh, this is my no, it's not interface. Oh, this is so I don't have to loop the list, I think. I think I do, I think I built an iterator sort of pattern on top of it. Let me just see here. How do I use this? Yeah, weapons have an attack iterator. Yeah, so what I can do in the attack iterator though, which is kind of nice. I feel like I want to set like overrides. I might just do like custom stuff though. I feel like it's not worth it to try to make this abstract. It'll either be an array of some interface that modifies weapon attack. But for now, I'm just going to do this right angle turn. I don't know. Bool. So the next returns a weapon attack. So actually in here, this won't be a Boolean. This is going to be like the data that we want to override on the weapon attack. But right for now, I'm just going to hard code the configured part like this. We'll also up the speed because I don't know. I just wanted to turn so it's obvious. Okay, so there's W dot right angle turn. This just needs to be a Boolean. And then basically when I produce a new weapon attack, I'm getting one out of the sequencer. Yeah, I mean, it's awkward though, because now I'm not rolling anything. I guess I do this though. Yeah, when I activate, I build a new one. It's slowly bubbling up to where I need to configure it. I feel like I'm started with weapon attacks. Now I'm at the sequence, or now I'm at the attack iterator, but it's gonna have to come from the sequencers. So it'll be a sequencer configuration, I guess. I don't know if I like that though. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some water. Give me 1 second. Good job, buddy. All right, I think I figured it out. I think what we want to do is we want to have every projectile config needs to know exactly how to configure itself, but I want to be able to override that stuff from the sequencer level. So in every sequencer, I want to add a, or not every sequencer, I might make like an overriding sequencer that adds some like modifier thing or whatever. And then this is where we would do the application. So we need to have like attack modifiers. And then in here, this we probably won't do. I'll probably just put it in the weapon projectile base. Because in here, we also do stuff like beams, weapon spawners, global on death. So we might as well add the component here. For now, I'm just gonna use the tracer one just because that's easy. And yeah, that's that. So then all I have to do here is like do the application, and then it'll be next attack dot projectile dot tracer is this. So now I've effectively like configured it at the sequencer level. The one thing though is this needs to bubble down somehow.